Can you hear me? Why can't I hear you? Bro, this shit is bullshit. You can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
See that. Where's this guy, man? Mhm. So just- Bro. What's your Instagram name?
J tapped XOXO.
TAFT.
Yeah, TAFT.
I'm on Park, man. Sky, bruh. Shit. Um. So we're just waiting on Park.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, guys? Sorry.
Hey.
Hey. All right, I think I can connect.
Work sucks. Real work sucks. Do you guys look at the NBA stuff? Do you even know what's going on?
I have an idea.
I have an idea.
All right. You're already live. I see it. Anybody watching?
Nah, because we had 10 minutes of silence. You sound like you're in a whirlpool.
Oh, yeah. The connection doesn't seem good. Hold on. I'm gonna fix it.
Wait, can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
Is it or no? It is not used. Hold on. Speaker. The mic.
I don't know, maybe it's just loud on my side.
Loud?
I can hear you good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. I just had my volume up too loud.
Oh, okay. All right, it was acting weird. All right, Jesus. All right. All right, I should be good.
Cool. I can intro us again if you want.
Sure. Oh, real quick. I finally got the third bobblehead. So it was the third one. It's the Kobe one, the giveaways they had for the final season. I had two of them. And then like when I was at my job, the cleaning people broke one. And so then they paid for a new one. And I was like, and I held off because they're super expensive. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to buy it. So I bought it off eBay, the third one, and I'm selling the other one because I was able to glue the other one back together. But I was like, so I sold the new one. I'm selling it right now. But yeah, so I finally got the new one. But you can never see it because I got those. But
it's up there.
I might switch them.
That's
I think I should switch them. I think I might switch them. Yeah, we're gonna switch them. Watch, I'll drop it now. I'll be like, oh, let's switch them. I don't know if you saw the new Kobe's coming out, or they're gonna come out one more. The last one, it's Kobe and Gigi.
Oh,
it's a shoe. It's a shoe for them. So they just announced that.
That shoe's gonna be so expensive.
Impossible.
You got the Hall of Fame ones?
I'm trying, man. Undefeated. I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
It's over.
It's not gonna happen. But whatever. All right. Let's roll. You got this. I got an hour. Had like 5 minutes. So we can
knock it out. All right, ready?
Yeah, whenever you want.
All right.
Yep.
Welcome back to Speak Up and Dribble. I am Coach Jay.
I'm Coach Cav.
Coach Park.
And today we're going to be talking about NBA updates, playoffs. We're taking a break from us ranking movies and all that fun stuff. But don't worry, we'll be back at it. But we're going to hit the NBA today. I'm just going to how about Park? Go ahead, start us off on an update with the NBA that you've been most interested in.
So what's interesting is like the play-in, right? I think everybody's kind of trying to understand really what that means for the 7 through the 10 spot. So I didn't really fully understand it, and I obviously saw LeBron James complain about it and say this is like the stupidest thing ever. And I kind of get what he's saying, but I think they used to do this, right, for the reason, and Kev, you can probably speak on it, but it's they did it because the West was so strong and the East was so weak, and now it's kind of evened out. But the way it works, and I know you pulled it up here, but the 7 and 8 team. So they play. Whoever wins is guaranteed in, right? But that 8th seed, what I was worried about was the 8th seed. I'm like, man, you work so hard. The 8th seed, just like if they're out, they're out. It really should have been like 7 playing 10 or whatever. But what it is, it's double elimination for that person who loses. Or that team that loses. So the 8th seed would then play the winner of the 9-10, and then the winner of that goes in as the 8th seed. So it kind of sucks for the person for the team that loses, out of the 7 and 8, because they got to play 2 extra games. But I guess it works out. I mean, because there are times where the end, like they're so close, like they're just within a half a game of each other. But that's what the playoffs are. I mean, that's really what it should be. And if you look at the standings right now, which is really weird, you've got teams that have a playoff berth, but they're not guaranteed a spot yet. They don't know where they are. So like the Lakers and the Blazers, even though they have better records than some of the other teams, they're like, it's super close. So they don't have a playoff berth. They're going to get into the playoffs, but they don't know where yet. So it's an interesting thing. I'm curious to see who ends up. Obviously being in Southern California, like I want to see the Lakers go back and see how they're doing, but they've been so hurt. But I know LeBron's playing, I think tonight he's playing against the Rockets. So that was strategic on their end. They're a game behind Portland, but there are quite a few. I mean, Golden State is on fire, right? Golden State's on fire. Steph is absolutely killing it. He'll be probably scoring champ this year. So, it's been an interesting ride. I'll tell you, I mean, this has been a crazy year. The Knicks are making the playoffs. I mean, like there's just some crazy. The Bulls have a chance to get in the playoffs. Like, come on now. So.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at too. Looking at those rankings and just in general, I feel like there's so many different teams that are in the playoffs that are never in the playoffs or make it once in a blue moon type of thing. So it is kind of interesting that that's happening, and then they're kind of switching the playoff, like how it's kind of looking in the format of it. So it's definitely a weird year for sure. So, yeah, that's crazy because, like you said, the Knicks and the playoffs, that's interesting. What about you, Kev? What do you think?
These Knicks fans that come out the woodwork out here, everybody's a Knicks fan again. It is ridiculous. Everybody you would think they were with the team since 1994. These Knicks fans are ridiculous. They're like the next coming. Then they're thinking about who they're gonna get next offseason. They don't know how to just be happy with what they have. They think like everything is gonna become great. But I think the tournament is good. I mean, I don't know. I can't say it's good. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure how I feel about it, actually. I don't know. I think they did it just because it's a perfect timing because last year they had they were forced to do the tournament because of COVID or whatever, were quote unquote kind of like tournament kind of thing where they're playing a certain amount of games to see who can make it still. So I think that kind of set them up to do this. I don't know if this was already planned to do this, to start this year or start a tournament like this.
Yeah, it was planned.
It was planned like that. So like you said, it has to do. I know one of the things people were saying was just to throw all 16 teams in a pie and just put the best team, even if the 2 top teams are from the West, just keep them as the number 1 seeds or whatever. But is this gonna work? I'm not sure. It's weird. Like you said, it's weird because the the last seed has no chance. So if they lose, they're done. But if you're, I guess, if you're the highest ranking out of the tournament, you get to play 2 games, right? A minimum 2 games, right? You get to. So if you're the ninth and 10th winner goes on. So the 10th. So whoever loses off the 9th and 10th, you're done.
Yep.
So I guess being 7th and 8th is a positive because you get 2 chances. Yeah. So you get 2 chances. So you get a chance to still be the A seed, and you got a chance to be at the highest, the 7th seed. The funny thing is that, like, the Lakers would play the Clippers if they make the 6th seed. So they might be better off just playing in the tournament and not having to be the 6th seed and do that, even though it's kind of one and done-ish. But I think they'll make it. They'll probably make it as worst case 8th, right? 7th or 8th. That's probably worst case they'll make it. So they're gonna have 2 chances to win. Same thing.
Well, it's kind of crazy is that they're, like I said, they're only a game behind Dallas and Portland.
Yeah,
so
that is weird.
They can still actually end up the 5th seed.
That's what I'm saying. But so it's just like how it always like this. The NBA is like this always. It's always like the top like 5 or 4 seeds can, like, at the last week can just switch up like that. So I guess this just adds a little more extra to the, like you said, switch up, so people know they've made the playoffs, but they have no idea if they're going to be in a play-in tournament, if they're going to be in the top 6 seeds or whatever the case may be. So it's LeBron. What did LeBron said he didn't like it, right? He said he didn't like it or whatever the case may be. I mean, he doesn't like it because his team might make it in the play-in. I wouldn't like it either if my team was in there. But
it's funny. It's funny because, like, when you watch the playoffs and stuff, you're so used to, like, so many games per round. So it's like to have that double elimination or even like 1 game and done. That's so different. Like, that's like WNBA where it's like best 2 out of 3 pretty much, or 3 out of 5 or whatever they do. So I can see that being like weird for them.
I wonder what they're gonna. Yeah, I wonder. I know everybody wants to do the March Madness. Everybody's goal is a March Madness, and football has it perfectly. It's football; you can't play multiple games, so football is forced to play 1 and done. So that's why everybody loves the NFL playoffs, because it's 1 and done. So the NBA is trying to figure out a way to do something, because it is kind of, when we get to the NBA playoffs, people like know who's gonna make it to the Western Conference season, and it sucks that it's like that. But basketball is such a what's the name driven, a superstar driven league. Like in football, you can have a great quarterback, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna win the game. You know, in basketball, if you have 2 of the top players on the court, you have a very, very good chance of winning a 7-game series. So this kind of adds a little to it, but it doesn't. I mean, it's only the first round. I'm not even technically the first round, so it's not really like a crazy change. I'm not mad at them trying. You know how the NBA tries everything. They'll do anything and try everything. So I'm not mad at them trying. But
do you feel like I don't know, sometimes I think that the NBA playoffs, like, it's exciting and whatnot, but I feel like best out of 7, I feel like sometimes that's too long. Like, get them in and get them out. Like, make it exciting. I get it's probably a lot of, like, money and, like, media coverage and that stuff why they do it, but it's like the season is already 82 games. And then by the end of it, you know, you're playing, if you make it to the championship and say you go 7 games in multiple rounds, like, that's just a crap ton of games. And it's like, I think it would be really exciting, like you said, Kev, to make it more like March Madness style, or even do something like how the WNBA, like I was saying, how they do it, where it's just like, I believe it's best 2 out of 3. I think it is.
The first one. I think the first
round. And then it's 3 out of 5.
So that's how the NBA used to be like that. The NBA
used to be 3 out of 5.
Best out of 5. And that's where you would it's actually funny because you would get a lot of upsets in the first because
that's
of that. Because you lose the first 2 games, you're down 2-0. It's 1 more game.
Yeah. We'll look at when, you know, when LeBron came back and won against, you know, the Golden State, the 3-1 out there. That would have not happened if there was no 7 games.
If it was only 5.
It's kind of like,
that's tough.
Yeah, it was cool.
That was a championship, so I'll take 7 games in the championship, though.
But it's like, it's cool that it happened the way it was, because obviously I wanted LeBron to win. Like, so it's awesome that happened, and it's a huge, like, historical moment in sports and all of that stuff. But it's like, at the same time, like, I would be really interested to see if them making the playoffs shorter but more exciting and, like, putting a lot more hype into it. I think
it's money.
Really
money.
Oh,
100%.
It's money.
It's money.
100%.
Because 7, and when you, like, when you hear Game 7, it's like such a nostalgic sound. Like Game 7, it's like tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Game 5, you kind of like okay, you know what I mean. But when you hear Game 7, you think like, all right, this is like the big game. They used to have it where they did the finals. They used to do right then they did two home, two home, 3 away, then 2 home. Right, that's how they used to do it. Then they changed it to 2, 2, 1, 1,
1, 1,
right?
1. Yep.
1, 1.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's the same way as which one? I liked it better. I mean, I don't know. Actually, now that I think about it, I was gonna say I liked it better, the original, but
I think I like 2, 2, 1.
I think the three in a row after the first 2 gives the away team a better shot of making it
does.
right? Because you get 3 straight up. So even if you just win 2, at least you go back 3 down 3-2, and now you just have, if you win, you're just thinking win 1 more and make it a 7 game, and then you just all the marble or whatever, you just play like that. But like everybody said, you know what it is. It's about they would probably do a 10-game series if they could. They want money.
Probably. Literally, it's just so crazy. Like even when we talked about like all the WNBA and women's stuff, and it's the same on the men's side. It's just so crazy how money plays such a big role into the decisions. Like it's really not based off of decisions of like how the players are going to perform, like keeping their bodies healthy, like all of this stuff. It's we get media coverage, so that's more money. I mean, like, look at LeBron. Like, when the last Olympics happened, he didn't play in the Olympics because his body was so beat up. He's like, I can't.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
So it's like it goes into that too. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it for sure.
I think you got a lot of injuries this year, right? Based on the fact that they played so much. Like, and there was no break in between. So for the guys that like made it all the way, so for the Lakers that made it all the way through, you see injuries for like the first time for some of these players. I mean, LeBron hasn't been hurt in years. Kind of freak accident on his, like where his ankle was like the inverted sprain, which is weird. But just Anthony Davis, beat up for they played so many games, and they had the least amount of rest in between the start of the new season. So. Yeah, COVID was tough, I think, on a lot of players. But the teams that got the rest, look at Steph, right? He got to rest, like a long rest, because they didn't make the playoffs at all. There was no question they weren't even going to make it. So he played a little bit, but he was hurt. So he got to just basically stay out.
Yeah.
And you see what kind of season he's having. He's healthy, he's refreshed, and he is absolutely on fire. So
yeah.
I think that matters. I think that matters a lot, especially going to the playoffs. It's been a fast and furious season too. So
that's a movie. Isn't that a movie?
Yeah,
I think
it's
so.
a series.
Fast and Furious series. Yeah.
Still thinking about last week. This is the movie.
Our movie series. But even like talking about injuries, like one of the updates I had down is like James Harden is supposedly going to play tonight. Like by the time we're recording this, but he was out for 18 games, and like it's just funny, like. Going back to just the Nets and like, they're trying to stack this team and everything and a bunch of like big names are on it. But then it's like Kevin Durant has been hurt after hurt, I feel like. And then now you have James Harden out with 18. I feel like they just don't catch a break. Like they're trying to stack this team and then they just get like injured. But I guess they said they're waiting to see how he feels in warmups. And then that will determine if he plays or not. But I mean, hamstrings, they can be annoying. Like if that does not feel good, then you can't. It's like a groin too. Like
those are the worst.
It's the worst. Like you can't play on that, especially full potential, because then you're just gonna get it hurt worse, and you're gonna get set back. And it's like, for him, they need him in the playoffs, even though I'm not a James Harden fan. I don't think he wins.
I mean, he hasn't really shown up in the playoffs.
He doesn't really shown up in the playoffs, but they think they need him. But that's a different opinion. But but I think if he keeps playing on it, then it's not. That superstar team they're trying to build.
So for me, for me, I'm not a conspiracy theorist like 100%, but I understand stuff. And people just need to realize these players are hurt, but they're having them sit because of what we just said. They play so much games. All they care about is the playoffs. The Brooklyn Nets don't care about it. The Nets are winning without Harden. The Nets were winning without Kevin Durant. So they're like, why should we rush these guys back in the regular season when all we're caring about is once we get to the playoffs? They know Kevin Durant misses 30-something games, comes back the first game and scores 30 points. Like, that's like crazy. You could throw him out anywhere and he's going to score. So their mentality is like, you know what, James, until you feel 100%, even if that's the first game of the playoffs, we'll be good and we'll get you back because they have Kyrie got elbowed yesterday. I think got like I don't know what it is. I don't know if he got a concussion or what, but he got elbowed so he might be out. I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah, he got elbowed. But their process. So even with LeBron, with AD, like AD was out so long is because they're like, you know what, they can hold the fort. But now they're seeing that we might only make it into the play-in tournament. We got to get it up. So that's why LeBron is coming back now to rev it up. And like you said, Anthony Davis but Anthony Davis is always hurt. He's always tweaked something. He's always this. Yeah. He's always.
Well, he saw me rolled his ankle the other day, and then he had back spasms. And you're like, man, come on.
I think we all know that person that is just always hurt, that always gets hurt. He or she will step on the side of the curb, roll their ankle, just always something crazy that always hurt. Anthony Davis, I just picture him, and he's that type of person. But I'm not. To me, like you said, I think that once the playoffs start, everybody is like, even people don't care so much about 1 seed, 2 seed, 3. They just say get in, get us healthy, and we're in, and we'll be ready we'll be good.
Yeah,
I think
that's
There's so many things that are still happening though. Like, I mean, I'm looking here at the thing, and it's like the Sixers are definitely. I think they've secured the number 1 spot, but Brooklyn could take it. It's very close. The Sixers would have to lose, and then the Nets would have to win out. But like, no, I think Brooklyn and Milwaukee are like only half a game apart. Or a game apart, so that there's still a chance. But then there's a big separation, and Atlanta, Miami, and New York are all tied at 38 and 31. So like it's super, super close, right? And then it could be anybody. And then Boston is basically 35 and 34. So they're going to be that play-in. They're going to be the 7. But then you have Charlotte, Indiana, and Washington are all like 33, 36 or 32 and 37. So like the Bulls would have to win out, Washington would have to lose out, and then maybe Chicago could get in, but it's probably not going to happen. So it's so close. Like everybody's so incredibly close.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Even on the other side, like they're all like within like you have like kind of bunches of teams that are just like within a game of each other.
Yeah.
It's like the top, then like kind of there, and then they're real close, and then the rest of them are real close, and then you've got like, so I think it's New Orleans and Sacramento still have a chance if San Antonio like loses out. Okay. But I mean, that's it. Memphis, Golden State, Lakers are it, but like Lakers could be right there with Portland and Dallas. They're only a game apart. So what do you have? 3 games left, I think. It's 72 right this year.
Yes, yeah, 3 or 4, 3. I think 3 though. 3 or
so
4,
I think they're playing 72 games. So we got, I mean, some have 3, some have.
It's 3. The Lakers have 3 left. They have 3 left.
Yeah, Lakers, Dallas, and Portland all have 3 games left. Yeah. Golden State has 2.
Yeah.
So it's close. It's very close.
That's
I'm trying to look and see what matchups the NBA would want.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying, but like that's based on like the absolute moment right now, and then the play and you see it. Yeah, so it's kind of crazy.
Because in the East in the tournament, they would want Washington in just because of what Westbrook is doing. I'm trying to think of the NBA money wise, what they would want, but they would also, they would want Washington and Charlotte to make it in. That's going to make the most for them. That'd be their best case scenario, to have those 2 teams make it, and in the West to have Golden State. It could be Golden State or Memphis, but probably more than likely Golden State and the Lakers just make. If this was to stay like this, Golden State and the Lakers, and that would be the perfect scenario for them to have like all the teams they would want, and because they don't want a Clippers Lakers first round matchup. That's not
no.
Yeah, if the Lakers win out, man, and they could end up 5th. They could be where the Portland is. They could end up 5th, play the Nuggets again.
That would be, that'd be good for.
Yeah, I think that would be good. First round matchup against Jokic or whatever. But yeah, I'll tell you, if you go to the East and you look at where Boston is, I don't think there's a chance they don't win because Jaylen Brown is out. Jaylen Brown is fractured his wrist or whatever it was, or fractured foot, something. He fractured something. He's out.
Yeah.
So Charlotte, I mean, if it stays exactly the way it is, Charlotte has a chance to definitely get in and beat them. And I think Washington would beat. Washington would beat both of them. Yeah, and beat Indiana. And I think Washington has a chance to beat Boston.
I think so too.
Especially the way they've been playing.
That would be crazy. That'd be good.
So what do you think about Westbrook? I mean, we always talk about him. Like, I know he's got a punchable face and he's Mr. High Fashion, but the fact is, like, is he still just chasing stats? Like, or is he really making an impact?
I mean, at the end of the day, you can't deny like what he does. He's the guy that goes to work and always does his job. Like, he does what it doesn't accumulate. Their record is, what is it? It's bad still, right? 32-37 is not the greatest record ever, especially in the East.
But they were really bad. Like,
they were really bad. Remember, we didn't think they were gonna. I didn't think they were even gonna make it to this point. But he is on. Like, he does triple doubles are kind of like, okay, everybody can get a triple double, but he does like 20 points, 20 rebounds, 24. How the hell do you get 24 assists? That is how he gets these crazy types of numbers. And he at 32, he's still playing like this because I thought his athleticism would be like gone and he was just gonna turn into, because he can't shoot. I think he's shooting like 60-something% from the free throw line. Like, he's just not a good shooter.
No,
but that man plays hard, and you can't be mad at how hard he just plays hard. It might be for himself. You're right. It might be just for himself, because at the end of the game, he missed the one where he beat Oscar Robertson for the most triple doubles. He missed the last shot to, I think, tie or win the game, but he wasn't mad about it. He didn't put his head down. He just wanted to get the ball, to keep the ball, because that's a record-beating ball. So, and that's kind of like his mentality. He doesn't like. I think Stephen A. Smith went at him about that, and he was like, "It's bigger than basketball for him. It's not about winning. I'm still gonna be great. I'm still knowing, even if I don't win a championship." So I mean, you can't be mad at that mentality. If that's his mentality, you can't be mad. Because he plays hard. It's not like he's out there half-assing it and doing what he plays hard as hell. So I'm like, he wouldn't be on my team. I say all that to say that. I wouldn't want him on my team.
You may not like his style of play, right?
Yeah, I just don't like his style. But that's just me personally. I just don't. I like a Chris Paul-ish. I like that style of play better. But I'm not mad at somebody who has him. Yeah, because he's gonna play hard.
I think for me, like, just comparing, like, I don't even know if it's a good comparison, but just like, because I don't like James Harden, but like with West.
No, that's a great perspective.
Like with Russell and stuff like that. Like, I think about like them in the whole winning category. Like, they don't really win like when it comes to the playoffs, I feel like by themselves. And then just like about them with like stats, like they both really want to have high stats. I agree with you, Kev. Like, I think I really like watching him play because he plays hard. He's athletic. He gets these crazy numbers and everything, but you can see his effort and like hustle. And like with James, I feel like you see that like just almost like laziness, cockiness, laziness.
No, I would just say, you can say, I know it. Everybody, it rubs people the wrong way.
And I don't like how he does certain things, like how he gets certain fouls, like how he'll just like reach his arms out and do this and then and do that. And to me, it's just, I don't know if it's because like I'm with you, like I have that Chris Paul, like just true point guard like mentality of like things like that. I don't like flopping. I don't like any of that stuff. I'm just like, play hard, do what's right. Like, obviously fundamental, but like in certain sentences like that. So I'm just like, I don't know. I like Russell way better than James. I always have. I've never been a huge James Harden fan. And it's like, it's kind of like we always go back to the conversation of like, are you like a true basketball like watcher? Like, you know the game and you truly understand it, or do you like it for the hype? And I see why people like Harden because of the hype, because he does this like 15 dribble moves and no one can guard him. The only reason because they don't know what he stands in the same place. So you don't like know if he's gonna shoot or not. It's not like he's getting you to move. He's just like doing those things. So I get bugged by that because I'm like, look at like Kyrie and like even just like all these other point guards and like Steph and even like Chris Paul or like Steve Nash when he played, all this like in their phenomenal ball handling skills. You know what I mean? And they get you to move and get you going and get you on your like your heels and all that. And I'm like, with James, he just stands in the same place and then looks like he shoots a wild shot and it goes in. Like, kudos to him that it goes in, but like still, I'm just like, I would rather Russell than James, but neither at the same time.
I'm taking Harden. I mean, Harden, if you watch Harden's game, I know the things he does definitely rubs people the wrong way, and it's not the style of play that like all traditional coaches would do, but his step back is bar none. Like nobody's touching that. And he does, like, he can get to the rim, and it's because his step back is so dangerous, right?
Mm-hmm.
He can get to the rim. So his finishing package is pretty good. I mean, Nets are a cheat code, so we won't even go into the whole Nets thing. But Westbrook's effort level is phenomenal, but I just don't know. Like, he's not going to be. He's not a player I would surround. But I would create a team around and be like, yeah, he's going to win. He puts up 2K numbers, so like in career mode, that's great. But I mean, it just like I just don't see it translating, and it hasn't ever translated. I looked it up. They're 23-31 with him in the lineup.
The Wizards?
The Wizards. Yeah. So they're not even 500 with him.
23-31.
Yep, this season. So that's not great. I mean, it's not great. It's not far off from where they are right now. I mean, they're right now, where are they? 32-20, 37. I mean, Bradley Beal together, I think they've made that team what they are. I mean, clearly that team would be absolute garbage if they wasn't for them. And when it was just Bradley Beal.
Yeah, that was that.
Oh, yeah.
They were awful, right?
Mm-hmm.
But even just Bradley Beal, their record was pretty bad.
Pretty bad,
really,
right?
Yeah.
I think I agree with you. I think I'll take that back in the sense of categories. Like, I would like to play with Russell because of effort, because I love energy players.
Yeah.
So I love that. But like, I do agree, like, Harden does have that step back and he can get to the rim. It's just he bugs me on his like laziness, and I don't like playing with like lazy people. So that's a really good point that you brought that up. No, for sure. I just had to add that.
It's two different styles of play. It's like,
very different.
You like somebody who does minimal moves, which Russell Westbrook has minimal moves, but he's going 1,000 miles an hour and he's on Harden.
Mm-hmm.
Harden, he's taking you to the corner outside. He's gonna dribble between like 6 times, 7 times, however you react. That's the worst player to guard too. That's so annoying. And because they dribble so much, you're like, damn. After a while, you're like, bruh, you don't even know what he's about to do.
Yeah,
you don't know what he's gonna do. He just every time he dribbles between his legs, you're like, damn, this is just too much. But it works. And he
second actually, you do anything, you react, you lean back, you go forward. He's so seeing
annoying.
That.
And like Jay said, but me and Jay, I think you were on a live with him one time, Brandon, our friend Brandon. We get on this Twitter debate all the time. It's so annoying with the this foul where you just go like this through their hand. It's like, literally, how do you play? People always say they don't play defense in the NBA. You can't play defense in the NBA. You can't play on ball defense. They are too good. They cheat. I don't mean cheat like in a bad way, but I mean the refs give them every little call, every little swing. And Harden brought that to the NBA. So that's another reason people don't like that. He started the whole you get tested, he throws his back, flail, like all that stuff. Yep. So it is kind of annoying. I said that to say, if I was in the NBA, I would use that to my advantage too, because I mean it is a part of the rules.
You did use that.
Yeah, right. But not as bad as that. The most annoying is this thing. It's like when as a defender, you're taught to have either, because you're allowed to in the NBA, like in the post and stuff, you're allowed to have one arm on them.
Yeah.
Or you're taught like to be like arm length, because arm length gives you a chance to contest.
Hand out.
But as soon as you do this, they just go like that, like right through your. It's like, bruh. So I have to literally play defense with my hands behind my back, and you can't play defense.
It's like using judgment, and I don't feel like the refs do that at all. Like, you just have to, I mean, like, that's a whole other topic. Don't get me on the refs. But, like, it's just using the judgment for that. Like, is it really a foul, or are they just doing something? And, you know, I guess people can argue, well, he's creating a foul or whatever. But at the same time, it's like, but for the defender, like you said, I have to play with my hands down or like completely straight up like this. Like, I can't.
If you're creating
the
contact, it's not like offense can't create contact and then expect a call.
It's the same thing, like the jump into.
Same like when you're
when you jump into the I'm just here like this, but you jump into me and it's a foul on me. Like, what am I supposed to do?
You can't do anything else.
Like, what can I do? And then even they've added even if you jump vertically, if they're shot, because some shooters are taught to not land in the same position. When you shoot behind the 3, you land in front of the 3. So if I'm a defender and I jump straight up, but you land and I don't give you space to land because you're jumping in me, it's a foul on me. How do you play defense?
Well, it's like impossible. Well, if you watch any other level of basketball, the NBA is really one of the only ones that they do like the three and then they jump into the defender and like throw it up.
So annoying.
And like to me that makes me so mad because like you weren't even planning on shooting that three. You just did a shot fake and the guy like bought it and then you just went into it. So to me, if you're gonna call that a foul, it's on the floor. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're going to do that, but it's just like they get away with so many stupid things. And like you said, that's why people are like in the NBA, they don't play defense. It's not fun to watch. Like you have that. Plus you have to think they have, don't they still have that like rule where you can't be super far and help defense? Like you have to be like close to,
5
and then,
rule.
and then,
unless it's true zone, because they can do true zone.
Okay. Yeah. And then also too, when you think about it, you're playing against the best of the best. Like offense always has the advantage downhill just because you're backwards. So like when you have, you know, a really good fast athlete, like you even talking like Russell or even like Giannis, once he's going downhill, that's so hard to stop. But even like these like Kyries and Chris Pauls who are just really good at handling the ball and that are quick and get you, like that's easy. So it's kind of like you're playing against the best of the best and you have all this thing. So it's kind of like, well, they're trying to play the best defense they can, but like they don't get much help. Like, you know, in college and high school, like you can be in extreme help defense and that can win you the game just off of that if the other team can't shoot. But, you know, that's just my 2 cents with, with the defense.
I think the top, I don't know if I'm right, but I think the top defensive team in the NBA, they still average what, like 98 or 99, 100 against them? Like, remember when the top defensive team, you would average 83 or something? They don't play like it doesn't work like that anymore. Like, it sucks that it's not like that, but it's not like that's why I hate when people say, well, the Nets aren't gonna win. They don't play no defense. Nobody plays defense. Why they act like these teams are out here like just it's about playing defense at the right time. So 5 minutes left, I'm down 3 or it's a 5-point game. Can I get the stops when I need it? Like nobody, I don't know, guys. I literally sometimes watch NBA games to see how much defense is being played, and they don't play. Russell Westbrook, like Steph Curry, I would not want him on my team because he's a point guard, but he plays no defense. Russell Westbrook gets cooked too. He plays no defense. Nobody plays defense because you can't play on-ball defense in the NBA. It's impossible. You literally have to be like contest, and if they make it, they make it, and that's just kudos on them. Because everything is a pick and roll now. Like NBA is a hilarious sport. Everything is a pick and roll. So it's like you're always at an offensive advantage because they screen. They don't call moving screens. They don't call anything on the offense. You can push off. You can do all these things offensively. So everything is geared towards scoring 120 points a game, which is it's fun for us, the viewers. It makes you want to watch more. You're like, well, not the practical viewers, the casual ones that don't really watch basketball. They'll be like, dang, I want to see how how Curry's scoring so much and 30 points every game, 40 points and a half, stuff like that. They want to see stuff like that. But it's like as people who watch and they remember the good old like 90s without a 3-second defensive violation, without a circle charge, without a charge circle in the middle, without all that, like it was just where the score was 88-84 Bulls versus Knicks. Like that was a little different, but we're never going back to that. That's over. Those times are over. They're gonna make a 4-point line and a 5-point line, and they're getting ridiculous because these players are crazy. They shoot from half court. I've never seen such a thing this year. I've never seen players shoot from so far consistently in NBA games. This is craziness. They literally pull from half court. And I'm like, this is like, it's amazing. I don't know, I know you've been on courts and shot from, like, that's so far to shoot by yourself, and they can make that so easily. Their skill level is insane. They have an insane amount of skill level. Like, at the end of the day, I respect all those players for them to even have the ability to do all that stuff. But like you said, it's a different game. It's not the same, so.
That's why you said the points per game or whatever, and it's 104.9.
That's the best defensive team.
That's the best. It's the Knicks. It's the Knicks.
That is nuts.
So the best defensive team gives up 100 points a game, and that's so crazy to think like that. That's insane.
Oh my gosh.
The worst defensive team gives up 118.8.
Oh, yeah. So you're getting a minimal NBA game. You're getting at least 100 points. You're gonna You're gonna see 100 points a game. Like
that is crazy.
That is.
Who do you think? So the Lakers are ranked second. They're 106.5. I mean, it's right. But who do you think is the worst
defensive team?
Who do you think gives up the most points? Wouldn't you think?
I was gonna say Brooklyn. But I can't.
They're not.
I think that's
They're
too
not.
easy. I think the Pelicans.
Surprisingly, no. They're definitely on the lower end, but no.
Who gave up the worst?
Hornets?
Atlanta, the Hawks. He said the Hornets. The Hornets could be the
Wait.
Hornets. Actually.
No,
Not
surprisingly
the
not.
Hornets?
Hornets. No, Hornets are actually pretty good. They
Oh.
only
Golden
give up
State?
111.
Golden State.
Golden State, nope.
Who?
It's Washington.
Oh, I kind of forgot about them for a second.
118.8. That's nuts. The last 3 games they've given up 128.7. It's insane.
That's all-star
That's why
game
people
scores.
say there's no defense in the
That's-
NBA. Like, what
that is
the heck?
ridiculous. That is a lot of points, man. They're shooting. These teams are shooting 53s a game as a team. Like they're just shooting like everything is a 3. Everything. If you watch NBA games, like to shoot a mid-range shot, I'm like surprised. I'd be like, that's crazy.
Well, even like the
Like,
post play, like the
there's
post,
nothing.
there's
Yeah.
no like who's like a true post. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody is like just
Rudy Gobert.
pulling up. Yeah. But like seriously, like there's not that many like people anymore that come into the league that you're like you're a true post and you're not going to come outside the 3 that like they shoot like 3 threes in a full season. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody is like if you're tall, it doesn't matter. You're guard play. And it's just like or forward, you know, and it's just like my goodness, like
the post players have become playmakers. You throw it to them at the top and they do like dribble handoffs and stuff like that.
Dribble handoffs,
or
screens,
if you throw it to
rolls.
the post, they do the guard screen across or something, and then one back doors and they throw like a side back. Like, the post is not about post scoring. Post is about running a set out of your post, like as the initial, because they're
Inside
so tall, they can shoot and all this. And usually the person defending them is not used to guarding somebody out there like that. So you're not worried about pressure and all that, whatever. So it's a different game. The basketball has changed, like
very different. You're a liability if you can't shoot.
Yeah.
You're a liability. You are. Unless you play like Westbrook. You have to play like Westbrook. You have to be like that. Which a lot of
I'm saying as a big though. If you're a big, you're a liability. Like I saw Dwight Howard hit a 3 the other day. I'm like, this guy.
It's like when has that ever happened?
Yeah, this guy. So it's like, you got guys like that are doing that. JaVale McGee shooting a 3. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
I don't think I've seen DeAndre Jordan shoot a 3, but still, I mean, that's the whole thing. It's like
one day
Marc Gasol and these big guys. Brook Lopez. I think I saw a crazy stat. It was like Brook Lopez for his first like 8 seasons hit like single-digit 3s. In the last like 3 seasons, he's hit like couple hundred. It's crazy. He became a 7'2" shooter or whatever, 7'1" shooter. Nuts.
That's crazy.
That's right.
His brother can't shoot though. Robin Lopez can't shoot for nothing. He's terrible.
Yeah, it's like it just has changed into like it's again. I really truly think it all comes back to money and entertainment and media coverage. Like seeing these like big 7-footers hit a 3 is exciting because you've not seen that before. So it's like the game has changed into something that it's like it's way more hype. It's way more the coolest dunks. It's way more like all of these things are like hitting like the Steph Curry 3s or like those things. So it's like the players have to adjust because it's a faster pace, game too, and like a more of a guard forward play type of game. So it's like you said, Park, like it's almost like a liability if you're a post and you can't really shoot outside or even have some type of playmaking abilities. Like, it's just nuts.
You know what's funny? I don't watch hockey, so I don't know so much so for hockey, but it's all the major sports leagues. Baseball, all they do is hit home runs or strike out. Like that's all it cares about is baseball is home runs, strikeout, home run, strikeout. In football, look at the scores of football. Football is all about the offense, passing. Everybody passing for 300 yards, throwing 5 touchdowns. Like sports,
rushing for 150 yards.
Once one sports corporation or whatever does it, everybody else follows too. So once I don't know who started it, or it was basketball or football, whoever, probably NFL, because NFL is the big money maker. But once you see them going that trend in that way, you got to just follow the trend and be like, yep, it's just got to be all offense. So all these sports, there's no quote unquote defense in any sports anymore. Sports is all about, it's literally turned into like the WWF, WWE, like entertainment. Like literally, it's really sports and entertainment. Like it's really turned into that. But
One topic too I want to go back to really quick is Kev, I think you said it about how in the NBA we don't like ranking it is not as important in the NBA, like especially when it comes to playoffs. Like it's not like it is with March Madness or even just regular season college basketball where you're constantly checking each week the new ranking and the new this and all that. So I think it's like I see why, and to some extent me too, where I like college basketball better because I feel like it's still pure. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even though, like, in the sense of just like the excitement and the fan base and all of these things. And with the NBA, it's like you care about different things when it comes to professional basketball and college. So, not to go back, but I thought that point was really interesting because I never thought of it before like that. But then when you said it, I was like, that makes sense because like I could sit here and I don't really care about the rankings in the NBA. Like I don't sit here and I'm like,
really,
like whatever. But like, and then
just
like
wait for it
with
to start.
Yeah, just wait for it to start and you just go. But like with March Madness and the NCAA, like you get so excited of like a 1 and a 2 seed going back and forth, like constantly like switching and like during the season. And then when March Madness hits, like it's more exciting for a lower seed to beat a higher seed. In the NBA, it's kind of like on any given day, anyone could beat anyone because they play each other 5 times a year. You know what I mean? So, and then when you get in playoffs, so I don't know. I thought that was a really interesting point.
No, I agree. I think they switches now. They care more about the worst record because they're going to get the number 1 pick or a better chance of the number 1 pick. So people care more. Now you hear the word tanking, all this stuff, like all that is like more important than honestly, I didn't even know who the number 1 seeds were. I didn't even know Utah was the number 1. I think
I knew they were. Other than that, I didn't know the rankings
because
it's been the same the whole season.
It's been the same the whole season, right? Like consistently. But that's usually how it is with them. But you don't really get. And the fluctuation is usually just between all the same good teams, if that makes sense. It's not really a new team that flies in there. So it's kind of – I understand when people say – I used to defend it, but I understand when people say, like, I don't watch the NBA until, like, the playoffs because it's boring, and it doesn't make sense. If you don't just enjoy basketball and looking at, like, little nuances, then –
casual fans, yeah.
Pretty damn boring. It is boring because you know exactly what's going to happen. And you're like, for the most part, you know how the outcome is going to come. And all.
I don't think anybody would have been like, oh, Philly and Utah are going to be number 1 seeds this year.
Never.
So, you know what I mean?
I think Philly could have been. I think Philly, because Philly's a good team. I don't think they expected
number 1 though. I mean, people would have put them up there, but I still would have. When Brooklyn,
but that's like Jay said. But Jay said when they're hurt, they were hurt. Kevin Durant was hurt, so you're thinking that they're not going to be hurt. And even with the Lakers, you're thinking the Lakers weren't going to be hurt. The Lakers were the number 1 seed, weren't they? Before they so. Yeah, I think that's the only thing that changes the NBA is injuries. Like
it's injuries, of course.
Little things like that. And then the NBA is great at milking injuries. They'll have these guys just say LeBron is just. I think the NBA is hilarious. It's all about. What am I going to wear? I'm injured. So what is my outfit going to be on the bench? How I'm going to look? What mask I'm wearing now? Like the NBA is all about style. But it's really a style league. Like they trend-sending league. People like garner their style. Like remember I asked you guys the question about like what sneakers you see the kids play the most? Like, these Kyries. Now, since I've said that, everybody has Kyries over here. Everybody plays. I see a KD here once in a while, and maybe I'll see a James Harden here. But Kyries are 90% of what the kids are wearing over here. Like
that's what I bought for the shoe donation I did. Most of them were Kyries. And it wasn't because I necessarily wanted to. It's just they were a cool looking shoe. And I ended up buying. It was funny. I bought one round was like Kobe's that I found, and they were really cool. And then like people came back and they were like, "Hey, we actually like the Kyries better. They fit our feet better." And I was like,
better. They're better.
And I was like, oh, okay, because I never had Kyrie, so I never knew, like, whatever. But to, like, going back to the point, Kev, of, like, the style and how the league is, if you look at it, like, these NBA guys, they're celebrities. You know what I'm saying? It's not just, like, an athlete. Like, you are a celebrity. Like, look how many of these guys are best friends with, like, rappers and actors and all of these things that are those A-list celebrities. Like, LeBron James is an A-list celebrity, and because he does so much other things, or, like, they're doing a bunch of different ventures. So it's, like, I feel like even though they're professional basketball players, like that's not their only focus anymore. It's way more than that. And that's why, I mean, why did LeBron move to LA? business. Like it's not because he ever always wanted to play for the Lakers. I mean, maybe he did. I don't know, but it's not because of that for the fullest. So it's kind of like, so you see that, and it's so different. Like in college, you think about getting to the NBA, or you think about if you're staying 4 years, getting your degree and seeing where you can play after that, or just being locked in to play, in college basketball. But NBA now is about high contracts and like lots of games and styles and money and celebrities and sponsorships. And it's just it's complete business because you can't make money in college. So it's like you can't, legally. But like legally, but then like when
allegedly,
all those things. But yeah, it's two different games, like completely. So yeah,
so even though they say the NFL is the top sports league, I think the NBA players are the top sports athletes. Everybody, the NBA players are the ones that go to China, have all this summer. They're the top sports. So that's why I think there's a chance that the NBA can become the top sports league too, because they're marketed all commercials, just NBA players. Everywhere you go, you see an NBA. They're talking about NBA. This guy. Kyrie did this. Why is LeBron over here? It's like, bruh, it really literally gets thrown in your face all the time. Like you have nothing but to think like we know LeBron James, like we know his go arounds because we hear about him like all the time like this, which is like they do a great job. The NBA does a great job of doing that and marketing their players like that. Yeah,
you don't hear that with the NFL as much.
Not
like
as much,
you hear like like the top guys, like you hear of them and like all of those things, but like as a whole, it's definitely more the NBA than it is any other sport for sure. But yeah, well, good.
It's crazy. The NFL is definitely still the number one in in America.
Probably crazy.
But they're number 9 in the world.
Because they don't really
play. Like 10 or something like that. Yeah. So it's because it's not played outside.
It's not really played like out in like Europe and all that. They don't play football. They play football.
Basketball is actually ranked higher outside of the United,
right?
Like outside the United States.
It makes sense.
Like, isn't it China like the number one, right? Basketball is like number one in China or something like that.
It's that in baseball,
Well, going off of Jimmer, like him playing in and like he's a god over there. They love him.
In China?
Yes.
Well, Stephon Marbury went over there. Same thing. He got thrown out the NBA, and then he came there. He got murals painted for him. He got
love
him. Like, it's crazy how much they
The stories I hear like from Jimmer, like being in China is like hilarious because Chinese people love their basketball. But
do you want to do a do you want to do?
I was gonna do prediction. We got some questions.
You want to do it? But do you want to do that? Do you want to do that as another one, or you want to? That's what I'm saying. Like, we definitely should do a prediction one.
Yeah. You know what? We probably do one when the season starts. So then I'll then do it. Yeah, we could do that. Probably predictions.
You say questions.
I was just gonna. I have one. So I have one question we can ask, and then the rest I'll hold for that. We do predictions, and then like MVP, because that's coming up. I mean, we're at the end, so it's like kind of like.
I think we should wait till they get the real 8 seed, like the real.
Yeah. I think whoever's seeded,
because
we need to know who's.
Let's do that.
I can't guess. I don't want to guess who's making that.
So, but what I will ask is, I saw somebody tweeted this, and I think it was Kendrick Perkins. He always says something stupid or controversial.
These people, how do you guys feel about them? These athletes.
Some of these guys just say dumb stuff.
They just say some stupid things, man.
But I will ask a question, and I'll probably leave it at this because it'll be one of our last things. Is do you agree? Which is harder, to win an NBA championship or win an NFL championship?
Oh,
which one's harder? Kendrick Perkins said NBA by far.
He said, "Well, he's gonna." Right, what is he? What is he gonna say? He played in it.
Yeah, but I kind of get like So I'll tell you, I kind of get what he's saying because it's more games, harder, more teams, and any given Sunday, right? The movie itself, right? Any given Sunday, you can win, right? It's one game elimination. So if you are truly talented, right, to win an NBA championship, you have to win 7-game series what is it? 4 7 game series?
4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4 or 5,
Yeah.
you know?
First
So
round,
I'm
second
saying,
round,
Because there's
semis.
8
First
games,
round,
so-
quarterfinals, semis.
yeah, so you've got literally 5 rounds, I guess it is, 5?
Yeah.
7 game series. I mean, that is, to me, a lot more telling of your abilities less players on a team. So you have to, if you're an impact player, like, you know, so it was kind of like, I guess Perkins was talking about like Kobe leading the championships, Jordan lead, like, I don't know what his thought process was behind it, but like Steph doing it, you know, to me, it's like those players, like, you are it. So it's like kind of like Tom Brady. I get it. Tom Brady has done it, but like, does that mean that, like, just because Tom Brady's Tom Brady, like he's the best, so it's easier?
So
Or is
the
it
one and
harder?
done,
You know what I mean?
Oh,
the one and
yeah.
done. So the one and done is easier to you than the 7-game series, like a one and done.
Like, is it? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know. So
I
I'm
think if
curious what your thought is.
I feel like if I played football, because I never obviously played, so like I don't know how I could see how physically demanding and grueling it is, like on their body. So that's why they only play 16 games and
Yeah.
one a week. But I get it from because you could go either way. Like with the NBA playing potentially 7 games for however many rounds, that's physically and mentally taxing, but also preparing for one game, knowing that you're one and done is also physically and mentally taxing. So I feel like it's in 2 different ways. Like I feel like almost if you were to switch the players, like take the NBA guys and put them in football and put the football in the NBA and see how that feels. Cause I don't know. Cause it's too different. I think it's different. I don't know.
That's a tough one because that makes a good point because if you're playing the same team 7 times, after the second game, it's no more strategy. Strategy's out the window. We know your plays, you know my plays. It's just about playing and playing better. Yeah. But with that one and done is like any little slip up and I'm done. That's so.
And that's the football thing is like if you but that's why it's like any team can win. So is it really is it harder? Or is it easier? I almost feel like maybe it's easier for other teams to win because you have a chance.
That's a good point.
I think it is. That makes sense. I think there is some easier aspects to win in the NFL because of, like you said, it's one and done. So like if you slip up, you're done. But like in the NBA, like again, going back to 3-1, the Heat slipped up for 3 games and then came back, and then Golden State slipped up. So it's like you kind of you can regain yourself in the NBA while in the NFL you can't. If you lose, you lose. Like that's, and it doesn't matter of like, you could have Tom Brady, you know, playing. You could have all of these really good quarterbacks. If your wide receivers aren't catching the ball that game inside out to
this past year.
Exactly. It doesn't matter. So I feel like it's easier to get a win, like a hype win in the NFL, but the NBA, it's like you just that's a great point.
I think it's the NBA. Now that I think about it, because I'm not going to count last year. Don't count last year just because COVID messed it up. That wasn't really a regular. Yeah. So the years where it was Cleveland Warriors. So my thought process, it actually makes sense about that because in the NFL, it's kind of you don't like. So say it's a top team in the NFC and they get rattled with injury. So now you don't have to play that top team to get to the so you could go through the NFL playoffs and not play quote unquote the best teams. It could be just this team won a division because the other 3 teams are rattled with injury or something. But in the NBA, you're guaranteed playing at least 2 good top tier teams to get to at least 2 rounds, whether it's the Eastern Conference Finals and the NBA Championship or the quarterfinals. You're not skipping past. You know what I mean? So I think that there's a better chance in the NFL. And I say that you're just gonna easily blow by, but that you're not like even when Tom Brady was winning with the Patriots, he would play some trash teams like the Titans, like teams that are just like we knew he's getting to another. Okay, here goes another Super Bowl, and then he's beating like the Carolina Panthers. Were they really the best team in the NFC when he beat them? You know what I mean? I love Philadelphia. The Eagles, was that the best? You know what I mean? So I think you're right. I agree with Perkins. Perkins said some BS, but I agree with him. No, he's right. It's right. That's grueling. That just playing that, and you guys play basketball, playing back to back day. Like it's after a while, you're like, and to playing the same people all the time, you're like, oh, like how much you're like, it gets kind of mentally tired.
Before the Super Bowl, they get 2 weeks off.
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Even in
yeah.
I mean, even in high school, my senior year, we played a team 3 times in a row, but 2 of the games, it was literally like championship game. Then we played them at their home, so they're obviously wanting to beat us, and then we play them to the semifinals for the sectional championship. So it's like we played them 3 pretty big games,
Yeah.
and it's like it came to that point where it's like they know what we do, we know what they do, and now it's just like who can score a bucket, pretty much,
so
and that's taxing. Let alone now the NBA, you do that regular season, and then you go play them in a 7-game series in the playoffs. So it's like you're potentially playing them like how many times? Like 9-10 times? Like it's like
you're
that's just
right.
nuts.
That's a lot. The only time I've ever gotten thrown out in a game, we played the same team that we beat in another championship somewhere in New York, and we played them in Maryland for another tournament championship. And these guys knew I'm calling plays. They're doing this. She's going down. I'm like, oh my God. They know exactly what we were doing. This is only playing them twice after like maybe a month and a half. They knew exactly what we're doing, what we were running, what play. And I think it's my fault because I used to record the games and put them on YouTube. So I think they watched the YouTube videos of our game and just
free scouting.
They just scouted us. They knew exactly. So I was like, I looked over at Lance. Lance is reporting. We're down by like 8 with like a minute. I looked at it. He's like, just take one. So I just walk on the court like, ref, you effing son. Like, like catch your head. It threw me out the game. So I did the walk off like this, like I'm talking to somebody. I'm not talking. I'm just walking off the court like I'm talking to somebody. They're like, Kevin, you know you're not talking to somebody. We lost. We definitely lost. We lost badly, but I felt like I kind of give them some pride. I was like, I'm here for you girls. Trying.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
I tried everything. That's the only time I've ever gotten thrown out of the game.
That's hilarious.
That's funny.
Oh my gosh. Wow. I know, Park, you probably have to go, don't you?
Yeah, we gotta wrap it, but I mean, this was a good one. The updates. Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting time because I think we're right before the cusp of really finalizing the season here, and there's a lot going on. But I think we come back in a couple weeks, probably not next week, but the week after. Come back and we'll talk about the where we are in the playoffs, who's where. And we'll talk about our predictions, who's going to win, and then MVP. Who do we think? I know Kev's going to have something to talk about. Yeah, Steph Curry, easy, 100%.
Yeah, right. It's a good thing we don't talk about the seating now because the Phoenix Suns are looking trash right now. So it's a good thing. Let's take this couple of weeks off. Let these guys regroup. You know what I mean? The dog days right before the playoffs, and
I needed them to win yesterday. I wanted them to win yesterday.
Yeah, I know. Oh, how did they're just losing games? And I'm like, golly. Damn.
I mean, I lost to the Lakers too, so I mean, I'm not mad at that. But it's still, it's tough. But we'll see. We'll see. But it's good. This was good.
Good episode.
As always.
Yes. Well, with that being said, be on the lookout for the next episode. I believe, what are we ranking our football movies next episode, or that's coming within a few weeks if it's not next week. So be on the lookout.
I think we're going to do football. We just talked about football. Let's talk about football. Let's go right into it.
Let's carry the conversation on. But with that being said, I'm Coach Jay.
I'm Coach Kev.
Coach Park.
And we'll see you guys next week.